Hello there, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you haven't been here before. Today, we're going to discuss how to stop feeling inadequate or incompetent at work or in life. This is a requested video, and apparently there are a lot of individuals who might feel this feeling on a regular basis for various reasons. Feeling of inadequacy could be around not feeling like they know their work, their line of work, or they don't fit in with the right people. So they just feel kind of like an outsider or an outlier. Or it could be circumstances where you might not be the most well-versed in certain areas. So when you are around people who are discussing a certain topic or a certain thing, or at work, topics or things come up and you might not know all the details, instead of having the confidence to assert yourself and ask the right questions or get clarity, you might go into a shell and start feeling a little unassured or lacking confidence, which leads to feeling inadequate or incompetent or completely clueless about what's going on. So honestly, sometimes it's things that you know, but the person might not be explaining it in a way that resonates with you or that you understand, right? So don't always just discredit yourself, because sometimes you know more than you give yourself credit for. And oftentimes we just kind of back out of a situation or go into a shell before we really allow ourselves the opportunity to rise or even just go learn, right? We're here to learn, and oftentimes we don't know everything, and that is okay. So again, hopefully the tips that I'll share with you today will help you to feel more confident, more self-assured, and give you the authority and the knowledge and information to ask the right questions and assert yourself whenever you are working with someone in your work life or in your personal life. Because again, this will work both professionally or personally, where you might feel incompetent or you just don't know what they're talking about, right? Again, the goal is for you to feel confident, ask clarifying questions, and not go into a shell and back off and just feel insecure, right? We don't want that. One of the first things I want to bring to your attention is that some people also feel this because they feel like they're not doing enough, or they should know more, or they should be doing more. And I want to say, give yourself grace in these moments and in general, because most of us are showing up and we are giving our best efforts with what we know and the skills and the abilities that we have. So that's why we're watching videos like this. We read, we network, we have mentors, we have coaches. We're constantly working to improve ourselves, as we should. And if you're not, this is your nudge to find opportunities to continue to grow and develop, because we're all a work in progress, right? No matter how good you are, you could always be better. So if you're working with a colleague or in a professional setting, or even in your personal life with a spouse, a friend, a family member, you're discussing something that might not resonate or something you have no clue about, I ask you to gain perspective, okay? So gaining perspective, it helps with two things mainly, really three. The first one is to recognize that the feelings that you're feeling are merely thoughts. And again, there might be a learning curve, there might be an area of opportunity for something that you don't know, but that's where you rise to the occasion to ask clarifying questions and position yourself to learn and grow, depending on the circumstance, right? Secondly, I think it's important to avoid comparisons in situations like this and in general in life. So focus on your own progress rather than comparing yourselves to others. Also, accept imperfections. So understand that nobody is perfect. No one is perfect, right? So we are imperfect beings. And again, we all have areas of opportunity to learn in certain things. Some of us are experts in certain areas, and in other areas, there are things that we need to continue to learn and grow. And whenever we don't know something or we make mistakes, I think those are great opportunities to learn, right? Great opportunities to learn. You know, as a leader, I always tell my team, if you're not making mistakes, you're not working. And I'm not a person that is unforgiving forgiving when mistakes happen. Mistakes are okay. The biggest thing is learning from them and not making the same mistakes and doing the same things that are going to hinder your growth and development over and over. Another way to avoid feeling inadequate or incompetent in your personal or professional life is to really understand your strengths, okay? We all have our own unique skills, strengths, gifts, and understanding your unique strengths and talents will always help you feel empowered. And you'll always know where you fit into certain spaces, right? Someone may be good at drawing or writing or speaking. And if one of those things are your strong suit, like, that's your space, If someone is speaking or talking about something or asked a question about a certain topic, if something comes up and that is your strength, then you're going to feel like, I can speak to this, or I can add value to this. And there's going to be areas where you're like, yep, I don't know much about this, right? Or I can touch the surface of this, and you might want to sit back a little bit. And I think that that's okay. But when you understand your strengths, it's empowering because again, where your strengths lie. Appreciate the diverse strengths of those around you as well and what they bring to the table. So again, if hey, I'm not good at this one thing, but my sister is great at it, right? I'm not going to try to do it because it may take me 2 hours to do something that it takes her 30 minutes to do. So in situations like that, I'm going to make sure I'm preserving my time, and I might hire or ask someone else to assist in a certain area that might not be my strength. And I think that that's okay. And when you learn how to celebrate and recognize the strengths of other people, they will literally learn to do the same for you. I was speaking to a young lady not long ago, and we were talking about her strengths. And she could not tell me a strength and literally said she was good at nothing. And I just want to say this for anyone out there who might feel that way. We all have strengths. We all have things that are our gifts and our talents. You just have to find them. You have to have experiences and try new things to find out what you're really good at. But we all have a strength, and we're all really, really good at something. Also, acknowledge that while you might not excel in every aspect of everything, you still possess strengths, right? So again, you might not excel in every area that you touch or everything that you do. And some people out there like that, right? That are just good at everything they touch. And some of us are like, okay, I'm not great at that. I know I'm okay, but these again are my really, really strong strengths, and understanding that. Ask clarifying questions. So if you're ever speaking or working with someone personally or professionally and you feel incompetent or inadequate or not enough, or you shut down because you feel like it's not your wheelhouse or something you know nothing about, I want you to feel empowered, continue to feel confident, know your strengths, gain perspective, and ask clarifying questions, okay? I don't care who it is. And I do know, like, working in leadership, every leader, every person is not always open to questions. And I do understand that some people you just might not feel quite comfortable asking questions to. And there are ways around that, and I'll kind of discuss that at the end. But I want to focus on you being confident and getting the information that you need instead of shutting down. So if you're working on a work project and you need more information so that you feel comfortable and confident to complete it, or if you're speaking and working with a family member on something and you want to be your best and show up as your best, but you might not feel confident, or you might not feel like it's the best opportunity to ask questions, I want to give you some tips on that. So seek understanding by asking meaningful questions about the task or the objective. I always take notes, and then I review my notes. And if there's any gaps in what I'm not understanding, I ask questions to fill in those gaps. So that's a great way to do it, to make sure you have a real good, solid understanding about what is being asked of you or what's being communicated. And sometimes even repeating back to the person what they asked, or what you recall them asking you to do, or what you recall them asking you to do. It's really a good way to just recap and overview to make sure that you have a full understanding of the expectation or the general outcome. Understand that effective communication benefits not only you, but also the person that you're communicating with, whether it's your colleague or family member or friend, because it fosters confidence and mutual success on whatever it is you all are discussing. Also, if it's an area where you might not feel comfortable asking questions immediately, I encourage you to take notes. Gather as much information as you possibly can and go out and research to find out more about the topic. I also would love to encourage you to challenge negative self-talk. So in these situations, we may beat ourselves up, or we'll have conversations and discussions, and before bed or wherever, we're rethinking that conversation and we're replaying it in our head. And, oh, we should have said this, or we should have said that, or we shouldn't have asked this or that. And I just want you to not have any negative self-talk and don't overthink these type of situations. Replace critical thoughts with affirmations and reassurance that you know you did your best in those moments, and maybe things that you could have improved on that you can implement the next time, but don't overthink it. Also, think about your achievements and your accomplishments, right? Sometimes when we're having these moments or these experiences, it's nothing but imposter syndrome, where we don't feel like we belong in the spaces that we really belong in. And when you think about the things that you really know, the things that you have overcome, and just really kind of journey in and pick yourself up by your bootstraps per se, you realize you know more than you give yourself credit for. So in moments like that, just pause and avoid yourself going down a rabbit hole of negative thoughts and feelings. Next, I encourage you to recognize your triggers. Sometimes nothing could be happening at all when we're having conversations, but we just feel inadequate or not confident for whatever reason. A person may say something that someone else may say at work, in your personal life, and you just shut down or feel that way. This is a good time to really think about patterns and triggers that promote this feeling inside of you when it may happen. So identify situations or tasks that trigger your feelings of inadequacy. Is it a certain topic? Is it when you're asked to do a certain thing? Is it when you're asked to speak to a certain person? Figure out what that is and try to spend some time figuring out how you can overcome that feeling or gain new knowledge or perspective to feel more confident to tackle or approach the situation in the future. Set expectations for yourself. And I encourage you to also feel empowered to set expectations when you're communicating with others that you might feel inadequate or incompetent or not your best self with. Sometimes, if you have a manager or a supervisor who you might feel like they just don't get you, or you just don't get them, or you just don't understand, or you're great at something, but for whatever reason, when it's time to do a project for this person and they communicate the expectations, you just don't get it. I encourage you to try the things that I mentioned earlier in this video, and I think it's sometimes good to, again, communicate to them your learning style and your expectation and what you need from them to show up and be your best. And again, this applies both personally and professionally. So sometimes it's good to clearly communicate your learning style. We all have different learning styles. Your level of knowledge on what you're working on, or what it takes and what your process is when you're learning something new, right? Do you need to be hands-on? Do you need to read it first? You need to see it first, right? Everybody's a little bit different. And I think that, once you're comfortable or allowing yourself to become comfortable, setting some expectations with the person that you're communicating with in your personal life or at work, it can really help you and save everybody a lot of time and pain and discomfort. So examples could include expressing your intentions, to take notes while they're talking, right? I'm going to be taking notes so that I can make sure I am capturing everything that you're asking. I think it's okay to say like, hey, I haven't done this a lot, but I'm going to take some notes because this is an area that I want to continue to improve in. I think that's a great way to say you don't have all of the experience, and you are willing and eager to learn more without just saying, I don't know anything about this. Or indicating a need for guidance, right? Asking for mentorship or support to say that you want to continue to get better or learn more about a certain topic or a certain thing. Another great tip is to praise them for their knowledge. So if you're working with someone or talking to a friend or at work and they are teaching you something or communicating about something, I think it's good to praise them for their knowledge because it again focuses on their strengths and acknowledging that they're good in a certain area. And when you're done, I think it's okay to set the expectation to ask like, hey, is it okay to follow up after this conversation? I think that is a great segue for them to know that you might be following up with clarifying questions to get more information about what's going on. And usually most people are like, hey, sure, no problem. And I say all of this really understanding that I've had leaders in the past, people in the past where what I am saying is not always the case. And sometimes asking questions or asking for support could be deemed as, you not being qualified or you not knowing what you are doing. So, all of the things that I mentioned today can be very useful in most circumstances, but I do know that there are sometimes very toxic dynamics with people who aren't very supportive and can have their own agenda where some of these things may be relatively challenging. And in those cases, you really have to do your best to rise to the occasion if that's what you're seeking to do, and really understand that that's on that person and not all on you. Okay, so you can do your part, but understand that everybody might not be willing or understanding to support you. And that is going to be a level of awareness that you're going to have to acknowledge as you are, again, working through these feelings that you're dealing with. And it might be one person, right, in your life where you like, hey, I feel confident in every area, but when I speak to this one person, I feel inadequate or incompetent, or I lack confidence for whatever reason. And I just think that that's a great opportunity for you to know that it's not you, and it might just be that person. And that's a video for another day, but I just want to acknowledge that so that you don't internalize other people's issues when they aren't forgiving or accepting of differences or open to helping people learn, grow, and be their best. Lastly, reflect on values and purpose. Make sure that where you are in your life with your friends, your family, your loved ones, make sure that these things are in alignment with who you are and your values. And define purpose. This is the right direction or not. Making sure that you're on track and doing things that fill you up and not make you feel depleted or inadequate or incompetent or lacking confidence, okay? So it's going to be very, very important for you to know yourself, your values, and your purpose, and make sure that you're aligning in spaces and places that fill you up. Hopefully, by implementing these strategies, you can gradually build more confidence, improve your self-perception, and feel more competent and adequate, both personally and professionally, because I'm sure you know more than you give yourself credit for. So I work with professionals and people who have these feels on a regular basis, and I myself in my career have experienced this. So hopefully these tips helped. My name is T.Prince, and I am a certified leadership and life coach, as well as HR expert and consultant. Here I make videos about conscious leadership, motherhood, women empowerment, and all things elevating your reality. So hit the subscribe button, hit like, share. Your support to this channel really helps me to make more content like this and helps me spread the love. So thanks so much for stopping by today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Remember to lead with love.